In the quarter century since its founding, BYD has transformed from a contract producer of rechargeable batteries into a vertically integrated manufacturer of cars, buses, trucks, rail transit, power electronics, semiconductors, and large-scale energy storage systems. In 2025, the company occupies an unusual strategic space. Simultaneously, the world's most prolific maker of plug-in vehicles, combining battery electric and plug-in hybrid NEVs, a pivotal supplier and integrator of batteries and electronics to other automakers, a dominant force in electric buses and municipal fleets, and a newly emergent luxury contender whose halo products, Denza's premium models, and the ultra-high-end Yangwang sub-brand aim to reposition Chinese vehicles at the very top of the market. It is a story of scale and systems, from the geometry of an LFP cell to the choreography of global shipping fleets and overseas factories, and it is a story now unfolding amid protectionist trade regimes, shifting consumer sentiment, and the technical constraints of mass electrification. True Blue Talk, bringing you topical, interesting motor stories. From our own research, we are not historians, but love talking all things cars and trucks. Like and subscribe for more interesting stuff. Origins: battery discipline, scale, and a strategic adjacency, 1995 to 2003. BYD began in 1995 in Shenzhen as a specialist in rechargeable batteries for consumer electronics. The choice of domain mattered. Battery manufacturing is capital-intensive, process-driven, and exquisitely sensitive to yield, safety, and cost per kilowatt-hour, disciplines that translate directly into electric vehicles at scale. As the company grew, one strategic adjacency came into view. If the battery was the most expensive and complex subsystem in an EV, vertical control over it could underpin an automotive pivot. The inflection arrived in 2003 when BYD acquired Xi'an Qinchuan Automobile, a small car maker previously under the state-owned Norinco umbrella. The acquisition, coming soon after BYD's IPO, provided licenses, facilities, and a regulatory bridge into automobile manufacturing. The early BYD-branded vehicles were conventional ICE models, but the long game was already defined by battery expertise and the possibility of electrification. From components to platforms, blade battery, and e-platform integration, there are different ways to pursue vertical integration. BYD's path was to treat the battery not as a purchased commodity, but as a structural core around which the rest of the vehicle is architected. The signature expression is the blade battery, a lithium-ion phosphate LFP cell elongated into blades that pack tightly into a module-less cell-to-pack arrangement. The design increases volumetric utilization, improves thermal behavior, and supports aggressive mechanical integration, cell-to-body CTB where applicable. The blade's now famous nail penetration tests, intended to provoke internal short circuits, are a public demonstration of LFP's inherent stability and the pack's thermal management philosophy. Around the blade, the company developed e-Platform 3.0, integrating power electronics, drive units, battery management, and thermal systems into a compact, highly standardized architecture. Public materials describe an 8-in-1 powertrain and subsequent 12-in-1 evolution, consolidating the drive motor, controller, inverter, transmission, onboard charger, DC/DC, vehicle control, and battery management systems to reduce cost, weight, and electrical losses while simplifying manufacturing. This integration is not merely a bill of materials play, it allows BYD to shorten development cycles, scale across multiple vehicle sizes, and cascade technologies quickly across model lines. BYD's DMI and DMP plug-in hybrid systems extend the electric-first logic into hybrids. DMI prioritizes electric drive for efficiency and range, using the combustion engine primarily as a generator or supplementary source, while DMP targets higher performance envelopes. This hybrid architecture has proven particularly powerful in markets where charging infrastructure or electricity pricing makes pure BEVs less practical, enabling high volumes at consumer-friendly prices and materially contributing to BYD's global NEV totals. Another often overlooked pillar is BYD's semiconductor and related electronics businesses, which make IGBT and SiC power devices and other auto-grade chips. Because power electronics are critical bottlenecks in EVs and charging systems, in-house development offers both cost control and resilience against external shortages, advantages that became visible during the pandemic-era supply disruptions and continue to matter at multi-million unit scale. Tactical and industrial dominance, buses, rail, stationary storage, and now shipping. BYD's expansion beyond passenger cars began in public transport, where electrification delivers immediate urban benefits. The company's electric buses, often developed with regional partners, now serve major municipal fleets across Europe, the Americas, and Asia. In the UK, the BYD Alexander Dennis partnership has delivered large orders to London operators and remains a backbone of the city's zero-emissions roadmap. In North America, BYD's Lancaster, California plant has produced buses for fleets across the US, illustrating that BYD's industrial footprint is not solely export-dependent. The tactical portfolio extends into rail-adjacent transit via SkyRail, a straddle-beam monorail, and Sky Shuttle systems aimed at alleviating urban congestion with lower infrastructure cost than heavy subway builds. The Bahia, Brazil, SkyRail line and proposals in Los Angeles exemplify the model. Leverage electric traction, automation, and standardized modules to offer cities an intermediate capacity, lower carbon transit option. In stationary energy storage, BYD ships utility-scale battery systems used to balance grids with rising renewable penetration. Industry trackers have ranked BYD among the leading DC-side system suppliers globally, with multi-gigawatt-hour deployments across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Recent agreements include supply for projects in Poland and the Gulf, signaling that the company's tactical reach spans grid infrastructure as much as it does vehicles. One of BYD's more unconventional tactical moves is maritime logistics. Confronted with constrained roll-on, roll-off capacity and rising charter rates, the firm commissioned its own fleet of large car carriers. By mid-2025, multiple BYD-linked ro-ro vessels were in service, enabling higher export cadence to Europe and the Americas and partially insulating BYD from third-party logistics bottlenecks. Building and operating ships is not an obvious step for an automaker. It is, however, a logical extension of a system integrator that treats transport capacity as another variable to optimize. Passenger car scale, the Dynasty and Ocean series. BYD's mass adoption has been driven by price-optimized yet technically robust models. The Dynasty series, Qin, Han, Song, Tang, Yuan, and the Ocean series, Dolphin, Seal, and derivatives, cover key segments from compact crossovers to executive sedans. These vehicles are designed for global homologation with LFP blade-based packs and standardized e-platform components to compress both build cost and time to market. At the heart of the Ocean line, the BYD Seal demonstrates how platform standardization and pack integration translate into product attributes: low drag, CTB-style stiffness, and competitive efficiency, offered at pricing below many incumbent rivals. Independent reviews have noted the Seal's structural and system integration features, blade pack safety, 8-in-1 powertrain efficiency, heat pump thermal management, and positioned it as a credible alternative to established segment leaders. Luxury Ascendant, Denza, Yangwang, and Fangcheng-Bao. As NEV volumes compounded, BYD moved upstream. The first vector was Denza, originally a 50-50 premium joint venture, with Mercedes-Benz focused on upscale battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. In 2024, BYD completed the buyout of Mercedes' remaining stake and subsequently began preparing a European relaunch centered on the Z9 GT performance wagon and the D9 luxury MPV. models priced to compete directly with established German and Japanese markets. BYD plans to build denser vehicles in Europe as its Hungarian facility ramps, signaling a long-term commitment to the region's premium segments. The second vector is Yangwang, a top-tier sub-brand whose U8 and U9 serve as multi-motor technology showcases. In-place tank turn maneuvering, sophisticated torque vectoring, and extreme duty systems packaged in luxury-grade cabins. Independent road tests and product briefs emphasize the U8's off-road control and unique capabilities designed to signal not just parity, but leadership at the high end of electrified SUVs and supercars. A third vector, Fangchengbao, targets the adventure off-road premium tier with the Leopard Bao 5 and subsequent models on the DMO platform, plug-in hybrids oriented for durability, range and towing, priced to undercut Western off-roaders while delivering high instantaneous torque and sophisticated traction management. The brand illustrates BYD's segmentation logic. Leverage hybrid architectures to solve use cases, range, refueling speed, that pure BEVs still address imperfectly in remote areas, without ceding the technological storyline. Across these sub-brands, the luxury thesis is consistent. BYD intends to normalize Chinese origin at premium price points by coupling powertrain innovations with full-stack electronics, infotainment, and ADAS features, while keeping a measurable cost advantage through vertical integration. A contested present, volumes, share, and the Tesla benchmark. In the public discourse, BYD's trajectory is often benchmarked against Tesla. On combined NEV volumes, BEV plus PHEV, BYD became the world's largest producer by 2023 and extended that lead in 2024 with approximately 4.27 million vehicles sold globally. The more symbolic milestone came on the BEV-only metric. Multiple industry analyses indicate BYD overtook Tesla in global BEV sales in 2024 and widened the lead across subsequent quarters, reflecting BYD's broader model mix and price ladder. The headline matters not for boast value, but because it crystallizes the company's shift from domestic champion to a global leader that sets the cadence of electrification across price bands. This scaling has operational and policy counterparts. BYD's overseas factory pipeline, Hungary for Europe, Brazil for South America, underscores a long-term localization strategy to de-risk tariffs and logistics. Both projects have encountered timeline adjustments. Public reporting points to later mass production starts and phased localization of supply chains and permitting catch-up, but the direction of travel is clear. Meanwhile, trade policy has become a dominant variable in BYD's European expansion. The European Commission imposed additional countervailing duties on Chinese-made BEVs in 2024, on top of the 10% common external tariff, with BYD's provisional and then definitive rates at the lower end of the range compared with certain peers. The policy aims to offset what Brussels describes as unfair subsidization along China's BEV value chain. As of late 2024, the duties were confirmed for a 5-year period, though both sides continued to negotiate. Vertical integration as a competitive system. The operational core of BYD's strategy is a tight loop that links R&D, component manufacturing, software, and final assembly. Battery cells, FinDreams, power semiconductors, BYD Semiconductor, motors and inverters, thermal systems, controllers, and vehicle software are designed to slot into common platform interfaces. In practical terms, this yields cost and scale advantages from commonized components, e.g., E-platform drive units that ship across sedans, crossovers, and MPVs. Resilience against supply shocks, internal chips and packs anchor production, while external sourcing becomes a capacity supplement rather than a dependency. Pace of iteration that lets BYD push platform updates, E-platform 3.0 to 3.0 Evo, and cascade them rapidly across new nameplates. This integration also creates optionality as a supplier. Evidence of BYD supplying batteries to peer automakers has emerged in Europe, including reports around Tesla's Berlin plant using BYD blade-based packs, and within China, e.g., supply agreements for new sub-brands of rivals. For BYD, this is strategic hedging. Even when a consumer opts for a different badge, BYD can still participate in the value chain. The tactical portfolio in detail. Buses and coaches. BYD's electric buses are tactical in both senses of the word. They decarbonize high-utilization fleets and embed BYD within municipal procurement ecosystems. Major contracts in London, long-running deliveries across the UK, and the capacity to assemble in California demonstrate geographic spread and a model that mixes direct sales with partnerships. Rail transit. SkyRail and SkyShuttle target corridors where bus rapid transit is insufficient, but heavy rail is cost prohibitive. BYD invested heavily to own core technologies, switches, bogies, track beams. The Bahia project in Brazil, the first partially cross-sea SkyRail, and the LA SkyRail proposal exemplify how the company pitches a standardized, exportable system to cities seeking mid-cap solutions. Energy storage and grid integration. BYD supplies BSS, battery energy storage systems, for frequency regulation, peak shaving, and renewables buffering. Industry data has placed BYD among the top DC-side integrators and cell suppliers, with contracts announced across Europe and the Middle East, positioning BYD not only as a vehicle maker, but as an electricity infrastructure vendor. Logistics assets. The decision to commission a Ro-Ro fleet may prove one of BYD's most consequential tactical assets, filtering directly into export volumes and delivery lead times, especially as European ports juggle capacity and as tariff regimes push automakers to reroute and resequence logistics. The luxury portfolio in detail. Denza, premium multi-space and performance. Denza's D9 has become a high-volume premium MPV in China, anchoring the brand's resurgence after BYD bought out Mercedes' stake. The European program, starting with the Z9 GT, is designed as a technology-first introduction with pricing to match premium German competitors, followed by localized assembly in Hungary and potentially Turkey as the European footprint scales. Yangwang, ultra-luxury and halo tech. The U8 pairs extreme off-road control. Independent wheel motors enable yaw authority and tank turns, with luxury interiors and a luxury SUV silhouette. The U9 explores the upper limits of pure electric performance. Together, they are brand architecture, demonstration platforms that let BYD claim leadership in torque vectoring, motor control, and high-power battery systems while creating aspirational identity. Fangcheng Bao, adventure luxury hybrids. The Leopard Bao 5 introduces the DMO hybrid platform optimized for off-road duty cycles and towing, an explicit acknowledgement that long-range adventure use cases still reward hybrids in many geographies. Pricing and performance are positioned to undercut legacy off-roaders while offering modern driver assistance and infotainment stacks. Where BYD sits in today's market, 2025. Volumes and share. BYD closed 2024 at approximately 4.27 million new energy vehicle deliveries, with battery electric vehicles forming roughly 1.76 to 1.79 million and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles the balance. Analytical reports and major press coverage concur that BYD overtook Tesla in global BEV sales in 2024, with momentum extended into 2025. The more consequential data point for policy watchers is the company's overseas mix and export cadence, now supported by dedicated shipping assets and a growing list of assembly sites. Regional footprint. Europe, sales share remains modest but rising. Tariffs create friction but also accelerate localization. The Hungary plant, paired with a Europe-specific brand rollout, Denza, and ongoing bus contracts, signals long-term positioning. Americas. Brazil is the largest market outside China. The Bahia complex, on the former Ford site, is slated to start with semi-knockdown assembly and ramp to full production as investigations and permitting issues resolve. North American bus operations continue via Lancaster. Asia Pacific, Middle East, Africa. Penetration is broad and uneven, with fleet wins, best projects, and consumer vehicles balancing one another. The company's price ladder, Dolphin Atto 3 Seal, enables entry at lower income levels, while Denza and Yangwang seed the premium tiers. Competitive set. In mass NEVs, BYD competes on price, integrated tech, and production scale. In premium and luxury, it chases brand equity while using distinctive tech to differentiate. The company's largest competitive liabilities are brand familiarity in high-income regions and dealership after-sales density. It also contends with policy headwinds, tariffs in Europe, and political scrutiny in North America that can reshape price realizations and route-to-market strategies. Pressures, constraints, and responses. Trade and industrial policy. The European Commission's finalized duties on Chinese BEVs, varied by manufacturer, BYD at the low end relative to some peers, seek to neutralize what the EU deems unfair subsidies, while China has opened counterprobes in response. The net effect is to push Chinese automakers, including BYD, toward regionalized production and European supply chains. Localization timelines. Bringing a greenfield automotive plant to volume production requires multi-year supplier qualification, workforce development, and regulatory alignment. Public reports around Hungary and Brazil reflect both the ambition and the realities of execution in new jurisdictions. BYD's interim approach, semi-knockdown kits, progressive localization, supplier certification, is consistent with how other foreign automakers have phased into Europe and South America. Cost curves and technology bets. BYD's cost structure benefits from LFP chemistry and internalized power electronics. The risk is technological lock-in if consumer expectations, charging rates, energy density move faster than LFP and platform integration can keep up. The countervailing force is fast iteration, e-platform 3.0 EVO, and a widening hybrid offer, DMI/DMP/DMO, that addresses use cases where BEVs are not yet optimal. Reputation and premiumization. Establishing durable luxury credentials requires time, service networks, and consistent quality. Denza's European launch strategy, leading with a premium halo product, Z9 GT, and committing to localized builds, acknowledges that price and technology alone cannot create brand equity. Localized presence and high service standards are necessary complements. Outlook: systems thinking at global scale. BYD's near-term priorities are legible in the pattern of investments, platform, and pack iteration. Continued refinement of blade-based packs, thermal systems, and integrated drive units to squeeze cost and efficiency gains across high-volume segments while enabling CTB structures in performance-oriented nameplates. Hybrid breadth. The DMI/DMP/DMO continuum will remain an essential bridge in markets where grid economics, charging density, or duty cycles favor electrified hybrids over BEVs. Luxury depth. Denza, Yangwang, and Fangchengbao will test whether Chinese markers can scale from value to desirability in Europe and beyond. BYD's strategy, technology-led differentiation, visible localization, and multi-brand segmentation gives it multiple shots on goal. Industrial sovereignty. Ships, overseas factories, and semiconductor capacity are all forms of control over choke points. This is a structurally different posture than a purely asset-light exporter, and it aligns with an era of industrial policy and fragile supply chains. Policy navigation. Tariffs and local content rules are now features, not bugs, of the market. BYD's ability to build credible European and American supply chains will directly determine price competitiveness and brand acceptability. Across each dimension, the through line is the same. Treat the EV not as a single product, but as a node in a broader electrification system touching generation, solar partners, storage, BESS, mobility, cars, buses, rail, and logistics, shipping. Few automakers attempt such a scope, and fewer still can finance it from internal cash generation at current volumes. Conclusion: BYD's position in 2025. BYD today is a multi-vector enterprise whose tactical footprint, buses, municipal fleets, rail-adjacent transit, stationary storage, and even maritime logistics, reinforces its consumer franchise, and whose luxury ascent, Denza, Yangwang, Fangchengbao, tests the ceiling of Chinese brands in high-income markets. On NEV volumes, it is already the global yardstick. On BEVs, it has crossed a symbolic threshold against Tesla. On profitability and premium pricing power, the jury is still out, and policy friction can still reshape outcomes. But the essential facts are clear. BYD's technical stack, from blade cells to e-platform integration to DM series hybrids, now anchors a product system spanning compact hatchbacks to super premium SUVs and supercars. Its industrial strategy, factories abroad, a supplier ecosystem in Europe, and a self-owned Ro-Ro fleet, shows a willingness to own constraints rather than outsource them. And its tactical commitments to buses, energy storage, and urban rail cement relationships with cities and utilities that will mediate the next decades of electrification.
If the first phase of the EV transition was about proving that battery electric and electric-first hybrids could be built, sold, and serviced at scale, BYD's second phase is about where and how they will be built, shipped, and taxed. In that contest, where engineering, logistics, and policy converge, the company's habit of thinking in systems rather than silos is its clearest advantage.